Hey, good evening, world. Hope everyone is having a restful or a good Sunday. I just wanted to do a final recap on the Boroughs on Netflix. I first want to start with I am very annoyed that they are canceling the series. I thought it was well written, I thought it was good. I thought with it being created by the same creators of Stranger Things that it would just automatically be picked up anyway. Um, so I don't know what Netflix logic is behind the cancellation, but let's like protest. Let's like, I don't know, do something because I think that there's so much more here that it could be more than one season. So I did a review or recap on episode 1 and 2, and then I just went ahead and got through the rest of them over the weekend. So we find out that there's a supernatural force um, that is draining pretty much the spinal fluid from the residents, and they are getting in through the sewer system, and they are crawling into residents' homes through the stove when they're sleeping. And then we come to find out the owner and his wife, Blaine and Alice, or Annalise, sorry, her real name is Alice, the actress that portrays Annalise. They are very, very old and they need this fluid to survive. And their life source that are breaking into the residents' homes have a, I guess you'd say, an entity or a supernatural being named Mother. And Blaine and Annalise have been surviving. And then there's a whole it's a whole operation. So the staff there also needs the fluid to survive as well. Sam is not giving up. He is like a dog with a bone. He does not trust anything that's going on. And the rest of the group begins to realize that things are not on the up and up. And they start to investigate. And then they do end up finding the creature or one of the children of Mother, and they end up killing him. And then we go down this whole wild goose chase, and we think that they're going to get away, but they get caught and they have to make a deal. And in the moment, I was a little annoyed because Wally, the in the friend group who's suffering from cancer, told them, let's make a deal. And I felt it was selfish in the moment because Wally is really trying to figure out how to live. He's not ready to go, which I sympathize with that. But in the moment, I felt like his decision was selfish. But in the end, it was for the betterment of the group anyway, because how are they going to fight off the whole staff of the retirement community? So the deal was that they have to stay at the Boroughs, they cannot leave, and they have to wear an ankle monitor, and Wally actually has to work with the scientists to figure out what is going on with Mother, because we end up finding out that her power is slowly weakening, which means that Blaine and Annalise, which we also find out Annalise is a polio survivor, was disfigured by the polio in her system and is trying to save herself, save her life. And she goes as far as to follow Art while he's out and about, because Art has been cultivating some things and he finds a tree, which we later find out is where Mother was born. And he finds fruit and he eats one of the pieces of fruit from the tree. It's a peach. And he suddenly feels like revived and feeling good, and he can do everything that he hasn't been able to do for a long time. And while he's out, Annalise follows him, and he ends up losing, I guess, the force, the juice that he just had gotten. And his hair suddenly goes gray again, and he becomes weak and he can't hear. And Annalise follows him into the bathroom, and you realize, okay, this woman is desperate. And we do figure out, obviously, she is desperate. She knows that if Mother doesn't get better, then they're all going to lose the source that has kept their youth and kept them moving for so long. Sam, again, dog with bone, he can't give up. So he tries one more time to call everything to the carpet. And Blaine has gotten into his daughter's ear, Claire, and has started trying to twist the narrative that Sam is just starting to become losing his memory, some dementia like traits. So it ends up working in his favor, and Sam does end up being stuck in the actual nursing home. And I don't know if that would really be the correct terminology. I would say more long-term care facility portion of the borough. So within the boroughs, there's the independent living where Sam was originally at with the whole group. And then once things hit the fan, he ends up in the long-term care facility portion. And he actually ends up in Edward's old room of all things, and he wakes up disoriented and confused, and he figures out that he has been drained because part of their deal was that they won't be drained anymore, but they have to stay at the boroughs, they have to stay out of trouble, no more investigating, no more trying to figure out what's going on. um so he's disoriented, but eventually everything's starting to kind of creep. So you can only keep those secrets for so long, because when Claire goes to clean out Sam's house, she finds a device that he's created, and when she turns it on, the realtor has a terrible reaction. So it's some type of reactor that affects the staff that has been utilizing the fluid that they've received from Mother. And that's when it's like, okay, something's not right here. So it's like everybody's finally kind of putting things together, and they're like, okay, we can't live like this. um so there's a 75th celebration at the Boroughs, and Sam creates a distraction, and he ends up escaping or attempting to escape, but he ends up getting caught. But luckily, Judy and Duchess end up running into him, and the group's back together, and they try to escape. And while that's going on, Claire is at the front desk actually talking to Paz and saying that she wants to release her father from the Boroughs. But Paz doesn't know until literally 5 minutes before they also escape that Sam is the father that she's trying to help. So the group ends up escaping, and then Wally calls and he says he made a bad decision. And this is when Wally comes through. And I'm like, okay, you have credibility with me again. And he has stolen Mother. He's trying to save her so he can hopefully save the world and figure out if she would be able to cure a ton of other ailments, because he's been drinking the fluid since he made the deal and he's feeling significantly better. So they loop around and they get Mother and they get Wally, and then they realize that Sam and Mother telepathically speak to one another, and Mother says she wants to be free. She no longer wants to be living this life, and she wants to go back to the place where she was born, the tree, the I guess the life force that brought her into being, where Art took the peach from. And they decide they're going to do it, but before they do it, they know they're going to have to deal with Blaine and Annalise, because they're not going to give up. So they end up getting cornered at the house, Sam's house, and they end up having a few physical altercations. So Judy, we almost lose Judy. We had a little close moment there, but Mother actually saves her. And then Blaine and Annalise, at the final confrontation, they end up walking into the reactor without realizing it, and they turn it on, and then they end up completely, almost like Annalise like blows up. She like completely just like goes kaboom. And Blaine is appears to be unalived, but he's not, because when Sam makes it to the cave, we end up having another confrontation with Blaine, and Mother ends up, I guess, almost making like a secret call to her children, and they end up coming to the cave and forming like a circle around her. And then they almost, or not almost, they self-destruct pretty much. And the self-destruction causes Blaine to finally be unalived as well. So we see Sam in the cave pass out, and then the group ends up coming to get him. And then we fast forward, and it appears that they're still in the Boroughs. Well, they are, because they're at Sam's house. They're having a party, and the whole group's there. And Paz and Duchess end up being a couple. They were a whole thing through the whole show. I was wondering if their age difference, because Paz is the security guard, he's the young guy, and Duchess is like a hippie, just super chill. But there were some concerns about their age gap, but they do end up together. And then Judy and Art end up getting back together, and they're well, not back together because they were never apart, but there's a little disconnect there. And I hope you guys watch it anyway, even though we're not getting a season two. So to see them realize, like, when Judy almost died, that this was like almost my chance, like, to lose the love of my life. Um, yeah, it's really good. They kind of leave it. I'm not going to spoil too much, but the way they leave the ending, it could have definitely been a second season, but they didn't leave it too open ended. So at least we're walking away with some closure. Um, but yeah, go watch the Boroughs. And yeah, we need to start like a petition or something because we need shows like this. So yeah. Um, happy Sunday. Have a good night. And I hope your guys' week starts off right. Bye.